Thank you for joining us this afternoon. My name is Philip Rogers. I'll be the moderator for today's breakout sessions. There will be a Q&A session after the demo. You can log in on your Zoom meeting, and at the bottom right of the question, you'll be able to answer your Q&As there. I'll be the moderator for today's breakout session. We're going to start with Greg McDonald, our Dev Center product manager, and he'll be showing a demo of what the new release is today. Thank you.
All right. Howdy. Thank you, Philip. So my name is Greg McDonald. I'm Corva's Dev Center product manager. So today, in the keynote, we went through like a brief overview of how you build and deploy apps. But today, right now, I'm going to go through a little deeper the process and show how easy and how efficient it is to build apps in Corva's Dev Center. So the process we're going to go through is we're going to start with, we built this oil price app. It's a great app, but I don't really like the color of the chart. So we're just going to quickly change the chart color to yellow. And I'll go through step by step and show how I do that and how things work in the Dev Center. So this is basically Corva's basic display. This is what the users see. But there's another interface now called the Dev Center. This is where developers can build, deploy, remove, edit, update their apps. Here on this page, on this apps page, you can see all the apps that you have deployed in the Corva ecosystem for your company. For the purpose of this demo, this is a different company. Corva also uses this internally, and we can build and deploy our apps as well. So, for example, this company has a couple of different apps already deployed, and I'll get you started on the process, but you might, land here and you not know how to build an app. So we built a documentation page. Basically, we explain how Corva works, how the apps work, how segments work, and then there's some links to project resources. So our backend right now supports Python and JavaScript, and our front end supports React, which is JavaScript. We'll take a look at the front end developer docs first. Basically, right here we have all the prerequisites you need to deploy on your computer to build a Corva app, and what other things you need to package the apps as well. There's also some deeper instructions as well. Over here on our left, you can get into our components. So we have some component libraries that show, for example, this is our loading component, and the code is right here, and you can drag and drop that code into your project to add this loading symbol to your app if you want our fancy loading symbol. But we'll get started and show how I'm going to change this oil price app. So like we did earlier, add a new app. This is a front-end app. As well, you can deploy back-end apps. So the back-end app types we have that are available to deploy are a polling app, which is an app that runs every 10 seconds, 1 minute, however often you want. It could run once a day even. A real-time stream app, which runs and crawls the data. Every time we get a new data point, the app reruns. As well, we have what's called a triggered task. So whether it's a user, company man in the field, or a person in our app center, when they push a button, it'll run your task. So those are the back-end apps we have available right now. Very soon, we'll have what's called a source app, which you can pull from someone else's API. You can pull from a different XML provider. You can create your own source to pull data into Corva. So we'll go back to the selection, select front end, name our app, so Greg's oil price app, and then select a segment and a category. The segment and category just define where it shows up in the App Store for users. And then I've already installed the prerequisites on this computer to run our command line interface, but once you have that done, it's a pretty simple process. You just copy this command and you go to your terminal, and we can get started basically building our app on our local. So this will take a few seconds to go through the command line, and I'll jump right back to it in a second. But from here, I can finish adding my app, and then we have an apps page where you can edit information about your app. So if you want to upload a picture, for users to see, you can do that right here. I'm just going to put an example here. You can rename your app. You can add a description, right here in the description line, and then this will show up in the App Store for the users to see. So we'll go ahead and save that. And then let's go back to the command line tool, and it looks like we have it built on my local. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my IDE of choice. You can do this many different ways, whatever feels best for you. I'm going to open that new project that I just built, which is probably Greg's oil price. Open this window. All right. So what I'll do is I'll delete all the source code from this app that we just built. Delete it really fast, delete, and then I will take the oil price app that we deployed just now in the presentation, and I'll take the source code and copy it in and make a few changes. One sec. Come on. There we go. All right. So now the source code's in our project, and we just need to make one little change to make it better. So what we'll do is we'll go into the manifest file, and I'm going to change. I want to add some extra information to the app, like a subtitle. Call it Greg's better oil price ticker, something cute. All right, and then we're done. So now I can go back to the terminal, and what I'm going to do is I want to test this before I even deploy it to Corva itself. So I'm going to open it up on my computer, and so I'm going to open it up on local. So yarn start. So this is basically running Corva on my computer, and it's going to open up in a Chrome window, and we'll see the app here in a second as soon as it's done generating. One sec. While we're waiting for that, well, it worked pretty quickly. So like I said, I want to change this green line here. So it's really easy to do. I'm going to go back to my IDE, and I'm going to go to the JavaScript component, and let's find the chart color. So I think that's right here. I really like chartreuse. It's my favorite fishing lure color. All the reds like to hit it, so that's what we're going to make the price ticker. And we're going to copy the hex key that I Googled really fast before this call. All right, one sec. And we're going to replace it. 3 spots. And just so you guys know, I'm not a professional developer. I learned this about 2 weeks ago. So, changing something like a color is really easy to do this. Obviously, it's more challenging to build this app. But for example, in about a day, Vitaly built this simple JavaScript app in Corva. We've also built a few others for clients very fast like that. So, someone like me, I can change colors, which is kind of cool. But the real benefit is somebody that really knows what they're doing, building their own apps. So now that I changed those colors, let's see if it'll reload. And boom, so we see the color change, we test it, we like it. Now we're ready to package it up and redeploy it. So I'm going to go here back to my terminal, and we're going to go to close this really fast. Where is it? All right, so let me zip it up. All right. And now it's zipped and ready to go. So we can close this local window, go back to the Dev Center, go to that versions page where we uploaded. We kind of skipped this part in the demo and didn't show the full process, but I'll show you. It takes about a minute. So let's see. Let's find the file really fast. Where is it? Greg's oil price. Here's our zip that we just created with the CLI. I'm going to drag and drop it into Corva, and then it's queued and it's building in our system. So in about a minute, we'll be able to publish this app. So once you're here and you have it uploaded in the system, all you have to do is hit publish, and it can go to the users. We recommend that, especially if you're new to this, that you have us review your code before you publish it. But with Dev Center, because it's on a new API, if you break something, you're taking down your stuff. You're taking down your part of Dev Center. You're not taking down the rest of Corva. So if you build something bad, it's more on you guys than it is necessarily on us. We do recommend getting started, letting us review what you're doing. My developers probably are complaining about me doing this right now as well. So, All right, so here in a sec, it'll build. It's just going to take a minute. There's a lot more documentation. So on the backend developer docs, you can go in, read about the apps that we've got, read a little more about how to build those particular types of apps, what kind of languages you could use. Like I said, JavaScript and Python for the backend. That being said, if you have code laying around that's in C, I'm sure Mo's got some laying around. If you want to compile that into one of those languages through AWS, it's compatible and it'll work. So, all right, let's go back to the app and see if it's done loading. All right, so it's ready to go. So all we have to do now is I literally click publish and it shows up in the App Store. I publish it and then we go back to the App Store, or we go back to the dashboard. Now users can see it. And you can obviously make different permissions levels. You can't just, if you don't want a developer to have access to just deploy stuff, willy-nilly, you can do that, but it's just this easy. So let's see, oil price again. You can see both oil price apps. I'll add mine that wasn't there before. And then you can see here that it's changed. So that's how easy it is to build and fix, new versions of the app. So if you were doing this for real, you would go to the oil price app, you would upload your new version to that app, and then users would get the new version as soon as you've published it and said it's good to go. So it's really easy to build, and it's the same process for backend apps that uses the same CLI. So there's a few tweaks for Python apps, but it's the same CLI. But yeah, so the other things to chat about really fast in the Dev Center is the App Store itself. So like we said, the new App Store, you can see a little more details about the apps. We have some promoted apps that it'll basically take you. It'll show you whatever we're promoting that month. It'll also show on the second, it'll show the most used apps. So whatever week, if there's buzz about some app, basically the most used app will show up. So it's pretty cool. And then like we showed you in the video, inside the App Store, there's a lot more rich content so that like the users get more information. So whether you're building your own apps and you want your users to know what that app does, it's right here in the App Store. They can also go into app settings and get here to view this information if they need it. So it's available, but also allows us for our apps. We always had trouble getting content out to users. It wasn't exactly what they needed when they wanted it, so we built this really flexible so that, me, my team, our marketing team, our accounts team can actually, as soon as they make media about an app, they can deploy it and put it here in the App Store without doing any code. So that's the cool part.